can put the bands up.
What's up, everybody? So let me just set the stage for you. First and foremost,
come on, show some love and click that like button.
So I've got the armed guard stationed out in front of the house. I've got the dog looking at the sliding glass door around the pool, making sure nobody helicopters in and drops in. Because, oh my God, did the shit hit the fan today? And I'm not being serious. I'm being facetious. I'm like, oh my God, this shit hit the fan today. And it's funny because those of you who have watched my videos and some of the ones in here who don't like me but are going to show up, they may show up tonight as well in mass. So I don't have anyone to help me block them, but they may show up after what I saw on Twitter today. It's absolutely psycho what's going on with the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Dolphins fan base. Shit hit the fan. Absolutely shit hit the fan. And I was vindicated. I know a lot of people out there say, oh, Barry doesn't really know what he's talking about. He doesn't understand. What's the old saying? Oh, he doesn't know ball. You know how they all say that shit, right? I guess I do. I guess some of you who have watched me talk and engage with me and join me on Sundays, I do know ball. I know it quite well. Even more so, I won't say than all the YouTubers out there, but pretty much most of them, because I actually know what I'm talking about. You've watched me call plays before they happen, as they happen. And so I do a lot of film work. I used to do full breakdowns. I'm like, nah, not interested in that anymore. Let me just talk about what I saw. And so I was doing a breakdown, and I saw something in the Ravens game, and it made me go, like the Arsenio Hall. How come nobody else has published this? How come no reporter in press conference has raised a hand and said, what the hell happened here? And so I posted a video. I think some of you may have seen it on YouTube, and I posted it on Twitter. And oh my God, did they come? And did they come? Like Pac-Man. They just came out the woodwork screaming at me. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. He might have. I'm going to show you the video. And it's amazing when you watch it and you think to yourself, why did nobody else point this out? Well, I'll tell you why they didn't point it out. Because they're not allowed to, because their fan base will go absolutely friggin' nuts. And so I put it out there. I'm like, hey, what the hell? I'm going to put it out there and see what happens. Never realizing I was putting a bait fish out in the water, and I would catch the bait, the big fish, the big 72, and that Terron Armstead himself saw my shit and responded. And that just blew up Twitter. And let me just tell you, the audience on YouTube is so much different than the audience on Twitter. It's a cesspool over there. I've talked about it many times. Colin Cowherd has talked about it. They are absolutely fanatically nuts. They don't want to hear anything critical whatsoever. Don't be objective. All you're allowed to do is lather the nuts, per se. I'm sorry if that sounds gross. But the left arm of God cannot be impugned. You cannot talk about him. I didn't know you couldn't also ask any questions either, but I guess I couldn't ask you any questions. But I ask questions. Even if nobody responds, I ask the questions. Why? Because other people can then see it and ask questions. If you have the information in front of you, you can ask questions. So, without further ado, let me show you the video, and I did some narration. Let me show you the video that I put up on Twitter today. And when I put it up there, I didn't know that it was going to cause this kind of uproar. I just thought people would talk about it. And so, without further ado, here's the video. It's only like 59 seconds, but watch it yourself.
Tell me what you see here. Seriously, look with your own eyes. When I tell you that this team has some serious problems, I really mean it. It's becoming more and more obvious. I show you things that other people won't. What the heck was Terron Armstead even thinking here? He never even laid a hand on the Ravens defender. I don't care if he thought it was offsides. If you don't hear a whistle, you keep playing. Your one job is to protect Tua Tagovailoa. This single play could have had a catastrophic outcome for the Miami Dolphins. Oh, and by the way, watch Tua's head. As I've said all along, jiu-jitsu can't help you when you're not in control of your own body.
All right. So I saw a sack when I was doing my film work. Something looked peculiar. I'm like, how did number 72, a Pro Bowl type left tackle, not even lay a glove on the defensive end of the Baltimore Ravens? Not even touch him. Just, oh, hey, sorry about that. Hope you're okay, Tua. Hope it's okay back there. Hope you survived this. This guy's going to come and basically look to clean your clock, and I couldn't even touch him. Couldn't even touch him. Went right by you like you were standing still. And I posted it on Twitter. And so let me go to my initial post, this very innocuous post. And I want to show it to you because, you know, I wasn't looking to stir up shit, but here's what I said. And what I said was, I don't have Miami Dolphins media credentials. Obviously a good thing. But anyone want to ask Terron Armstead what he was thinking on this play? Watching film can only tell you so much. Sometimes you have to ask the person what's going on. Did he forget the snap count? Was he hurt? Not feeling well on the play? Was he confused? And then a joke, was he mad at Tua? Was his mind not in the game? What the F happened on this play? It could have been absolutely catastrophic for Tua Tagovailoa, and no one has even asked what the heck happened. By the way, notice how Tua's head hits the ground, and you know what I mean. So you know what I mean. I mean, I've questioned the jiu-jitsu as well, and I said everything I've said in that tweet or on the video where I said, when you're not in control of your body, how are you going to do jiu-jitsu? And we saw his head in that video hit the turf. Thank God he's okay. Speaking of okay, let me digress for 1 second. Hit the pause button. Tyreek Hill, dude, if you're watching, because now I know the Dolphins watch my stuff. If you're watching, thank God you're okay and your family's okay, and I hope everything turns out well. I've had a fire in my house years ago. It's probably the most unpleasant thing you can have. And, you know, structure doesn't mean anything. It's what you lose inside. And I hope your family, number one, is all safe and healthy. And number two, that you are able to get back the things that you lost. Luckily, there's no life lost. It was just material stuff that I hope, obviously, you can get it back. But prayers up to your whole family. It's going to be a hard couple weeks or whatever. Then you got to go play a football game this weekend where I know all you'd want to do is be with your mom, your kids, and your wife. And you got to somehow get your mind away from a fire and play football. All right, that being said. So I posted this, and when I posted it, I copied a couple sports reporters here from the local sports media here in South Florida. Alan Poupart, Omar Kelly, and Florida Sports Buzz. And say, hey guys, none of you guys are asking this question. Is nobody going to say what the hell happened there? Or is nobody going to look at this film and ask the starting left tackle, what the hell did you do there? I mean, it was probably the worst play I've ever seen on an offensive tackle. You might as well have not been on the field. But merely by me posting this, shit went crazy. Shit just went absolutely crazy. Barry, you don't know what you're talking about. The guy was offsides. Terron thought he was offside, so he didn't block. And I'm holding my head going, you people have never played football. Shut up. You don't stop because you think there's a penalty. You don't stop because you feel the play might get blown dead. You don't stop. You have one job on a pass play. One singular job is to protect the guy behind you. There's no other job you have on a pass play but to protect number one. That's it. Hell or high water, kick him, hold him, do whatever you whatever you need to do, but you don't do an Olay block. An Olay block, for some of you guys who never played football, it's like this. I might have to go to regular camera. It's like this when you do a bullfight and go, oh, Olay, and the guy just runs through. You never do an Olay block. Not in high school, not in college, and definitely not in the NFL. And as you can see, Terron Armstead completely whiffed. Completely whiffed. And I had people bitching at me, all in the comments, all over the place, sending me DMs. You don't know what you're talking about. He thought this, he thought that. I'm like, he always got one thought. There is only one thing for him to think. The only thing for him to think is, how do I stop this guy from crushing Tua? There is no other thought. You're not a referee. You're not an official. You don't stop. You play to the whistle. And after I responded to like 100 comments and everything from clown to you know what, I'm like, they really don't understand football. And now they're just frothing at the mouth and they're just going nuts because how dare I even show this video? Never mind show it, you tweeted it out to the world. You embarrassed 72. How could you do? I'm like, how did I embarrass him? You don't think people saw that in the game? Obviously not. I guess nobody saw it. So I post that. I get done answering tweets. I get done dealing with all the bullshit. I get done seeing other YouTubers talk to me. I'll talk to you. I get done seeing all that stuff. I go shopping. My wife wanted to go grocery shopping, so we went to Publix. Then we went to Walmart Supercenter. And as I'm walking around in Walmart Supercenter, my phone starts going off. And I'm like, what? What's going on? Dude, Terron Armstead responded to you. Well, okay. So what did he say? Oh, you got to see it. So let me see if I can bring it up to you. It's down here. This is pretty funny. This is what Terron Armstead said. Okay. Good afternoon, Barry. The ball wasn't supposed to be snapped right there. By the time I realized that it was snapped, it was far too late to save the play. Communication issue that sometimes happens on the road. Big reason why crowd noise is so important. And as you see at the very bottom, this post has been deleted. So he responded to me very cordially. Good afternoon, Barry. You're right. I did not think it was offsides. The communication was bad. Somebody blew the snap count. And that's what happened because it happens on the road, which I said, did I make a video about that? Didn't I make a video before the Baltimore game where I announced to everybody crowd noise is going to be a problem because they're going on either a silent count or something that they've memorized. And the communication, again, in the 16th game of the season is still not right. Got deleted. And I'm like, what the hell? Why would he delete that? That was a great thing. Well, he deleted it because all of a sudden the nuts came crawling. And at this point, here come the nuts. Unfortunately, at some point, we all come to learn who the trolls are and who the serious people are. Don't sweat it, T. Armstead, trying to leech into our conversation, but he made the mistake of tagging me. And then Terron responded to him. I thought the guy just wanted to talk ball. I didn't know he was a troll. So you see what's happened here? The nuts on Twitter saw that Terron Armstead responded to me, and then he thinks that I'm some troll, and he has to go ahead and delete the post. But as you know, everything on the internet lives forever. And there's something he said in his tweet, which I talked to a couple of sports writers today, and I go, did you see what he just said? And as I was talking to a couple of sports writers, the next thing I knew was this. He blocked me. Terron Armstead, because of a video and me talking about what happened, blocked me. I don't want to even talk to this Barry guy. I don't even want to engage with him. I wanted to, but now everybody thinks I'm doing something wrong because he must be a troll and he's talking to sports reporters and asking them questions. I gotta go ahead and block him. At which point I said, okay, you think it's gonna end there? And so then my response to that was, and I quote, "Oh, was it something I said?" Laughing my ass off. Now you know why the media doesn't dare ask the hard questions. As I've told you guys many, many, many times, if I was in that press conference room and raising my hand, I would ask questions that they don't want you to ask. But it's good to know that Terron Armstead of the Miami Dolphins is good at blocking on Twitter. Hope he didn't hurt himself doing so. And I knew when I wrote that snarky tweet what was going to happen. That one was on purpose. I knew that the nuts on Twitter would come out screaming at me, which they did. But see, that's not the important thing. What the important thing is, and what I want you guys to focus on, is something, the real reason why he deleted this tweet. Can any of you look at this tweet and guess or know or surmise or have a hypothesis as to why he deleted that tweet? I'll read it to you again. The ball wasn't supposed to be snapped right there. By the time I realized that it was snapped, it was far too late to save the play. Communication issue that sometimes happen on the road. Big reason why crowd noise is so important. Do you realize what he just said there? He didn't delete that tweet because the trolls came out telling him not to talk to me. He deleted that tweet because as soon as I got that tweet, because somebody sent it to me, because obviously I can't see it, he's blocked me, I started asking sports writers, hey, and what do you think I was asking them? Let me take a few comments here, because this to me is the story. Bingo. Don, I haven't seen you before. What happened? Where'd you go? Where'd Don go? There's Don's thing here. Did it not send over? Why is my thing not working? Hold on here. Let me fix this. Yeah, that should go over here. Why is my comment thing not working? Crap. My comment thing seems to not be where it's supposed to be. Shit. Oh, that just absolutely sucks. I don't know what happened. But you can see Don says, one of the guys says that, where is it? Let me go back here. Don said, I think it's because he was blaming the coaching staff. Yes. There's a little dig at the coaching staff there. Barry is more hated than TD right now. Oh, there it is. Barry is more hated than TD. Wow. Yep. Absolutely. It's working right now. Inmates running the asylum. Ooh, that's weird. Inmates running the asylum. Absolutely. Tua is the best quarterback in the NFL. Jermaine, now he blocked you because he thought you were trolling. No, that's not why. I'm going to tell you why. Somebody actually just said it. Confession to miscommunication. Looks like the other lineman knew the snap count. You're getting close. I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. I thought it was the crowd noise because our stadium ain't loud like theirs. Let's see here. I think we have to go after quarterback as well as at LT. So here is my hypothesis as to what's going on here. I'm Short Dog, always going to be honest. I'm not going to be that guy who just lies to you and says things. I'm not sure where. Okay, here we go. There it is. There's my button. All right. So when I read this, having played football, I know ball. I looked at this and go, the ball, there's a few things happening here. The ball wasn't supposed to be snapped right then. The ball wasn't supposed to be snapped right then. Is that Liam Eichenberg's fault? Or is that Tua's fault? You break the huddle, it's on two guys, it's on one, it's on clap, it's on leg lift, whatever it is. everybody breaks the huddle knowing what the snap count is. Maybe if you're in a no huddle, because remember, there were some different times where he tried to do no huddle. Maybe, I don't know. But what you just said, basically, in no uncertain words, the ball wasn't supposed to be snapped right there. So that's thing number one. Why did Liam Eichenberg snap the ball at that time? Who told him? Who usually is the person telling you to snap the ball? Your quarterback. Your quarterback says, go, or whatever the signal was. Do it. Give me the ball. So, is he blaming Liam, or is he blaming Tua? Which in either case, anyone on the team or coaching staff who would see that go, dude, you just hung one or two of our guys out to dry. Hey man, it wasn't supposed to be snapped. Oh, you didn't say I missed the count. They did it. One of those two dudes, Liam Eichenberg or Tua, messed up. He either called for it too early or Liam Eichenberg snapped it too early. Barry, you're just making shit up. No, that's what he actually wrote before he deleted it. That's not me. That's what he actually said. So now let's go to number 2. By the time I realized that it was snapped, it was far too late to save the play. Understandable. Somehow the ball got snapped without him expecting it to be snapped. Now comes the other thing. Number 2. Communication issue that sometimes happen on the road. One of the questions I started asking the reporters right after I got that, I'm like, did Mike McDaniel not understand that Baltimore M&T Bank Stadium was going to be loud? Did a head coach of the team not understand he was going into a raucous, rowdy, loud-ass stadium in Baltimore? Did he not know that? Because, I don't know, I've seen coaches when they're practicing at home, getting ready to go on the road, bring out speakers and simulate crowd noise. They want to make sure that shit doesn't happen. It could have been catastrophic. You could have had your quarterback destroyed. And you're telling me the communication issue that sometimes happens on the road. Terron's been in the league for quite some time. He knows that happens sometimes on the road. I understood. I said in my video, I hope they're ready for the crowd noise. Actually, I can pull it up if you don't believe me. I actually said on video, I hope they're ready for the crowd noise. They weren't. He just admitted a major issue with this team playing on the road. We saw it in Kansas City. We saw it all over the place. And Kansas City was supposed to be a neutral over in Germany. We saw it in Philadelphia, another loud-ass place. Are you telling me this team has not yet, as of today, prepared itself for playing in hostile environments? Obviously, no. He admitted that. God forbid if they lose on Sunday and have to go to Arrowhead and play Kansas City. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're telling me in the 17th week of the season that you guys don't have your communication down for playing on the road in loud stadiums. Those of you who have played before are probably shaking your head in utter disbelief going, you gotta be friggin' kidding me. How does Mike McDaniel miss that? How does the entire hierarchy in there in terms of Liam snapping the ball and Tua catching the snap and the offensive line moving on the cadence or whatever Tua's doing to tell him to snap the ball, how the hell do you not know that in the 17th week of the season? Hey Barry, you're just nitpicking here. You're just saying shit. No, I'm not. He just said it. All Pro Bowl tackle, communication issue that sometimes happen on the road. Huh? What are you saying to me? You guys still have communication problems? Is that why Tua dropped the snap? Is that why the snap got dropped in Kansas City? Is that why in a couple of these late games, things just go completely apart because people are screaming? It's just a raucous crowd. Things are rowdy. People are screaming because it's the last minute of the game. And blah, blah, because communication sometimes happens. Issues sometimes happen. Okay, so who got thrown under the bus there? Big reason why crowd noise is so important. Guys, ladies, you have to understand, this is seminal stuff. This is 101 coaching. This is understanding your environment. If it's going to rain, is it going to snow? Is it going to be freezing cold? Is it going to be loud? Are you not prepared for any eventuality that you may meet on the road? What do you think the Hard Rock's going to look like on Sunday? It's going to be loud, but there's going to be a shitload of Buffalo fans there too. Are you telling me you guys aren't prepared for that? Because the South Florida crowd is so lackadaisical and laid back that you're not prepared to talk and, to hear the screaming? But there's another thing that I think actually happened. And so I want to go back and I want to show you something here. I want to show you, this is that video. Let me see if I can just make it big right here. All right. I want you to look at this over and over. And as you see what's happening, if I blew this up and you saw this from both sides, meaning the left and right edge rusher, do you think, and again, this goes to some of you guys who played football, do you see how fast he got off the ball? Do you see, boom, how he's off the ball right there? I'm telling you, there may be a tell that people have found out about Tua. You know what a tell is? If you've ever played poker and if you shake when you get the cards or you look around or something and the guy's playing with you, go, you're holding something. I know you got something. It's called a tell. I spoke to somebody earlier about John Elway. I think I put it in the other video. John Elway, he had a rifle for an arm so he could get away from it. But John Elway used to pat the ball right before he would throw it. He'd look around, boom, pat, and then he'd throw it. Linebackers who sit around all day long do nothing but look for these tells. They just continually want to see what you're doing different. Is there a hand signal? See, now I got to go back and watch the film and see if I can find a tell. I hadn't looked for a tell because I didn't think there was one. But when I see both defensive ends come off the edge that fast, just completely ignoring basically the center. I mean, here, let me show you this. Okay, let's do that again. All right, so look at here for a second. Let me get it back to the beginning. This is really important for you to look at. This is a down lineman, and he's about to come. He isn't looking at Liam Eichenberg. He wasn't waiting. He comes off that ball, and he's by him before he can even look up. Have the opposing defenses looked into film so deeply that they have found a tell? Something that's so minimal that you can't correct right now. You're not going to be able to, if Tua has a tell, or if Liam Eichenberg has a tell, if they have found that, you can't correct it. It's a tick. It's something that it's almost impossible for you to change. So I'm going to go back and look at film, and I want to see, is Tua doing something with his hands? He's a left-handed quarterback. Does he turn his hand before the ball gets to him? Is there something that he does to initiate the snap that I can look at and go, boom, there it is, gone. Boom, I'm gone. Or is there something in his voice? Is it an inflection? Does his voice get higher or lower right before he's going to call the snap? These things seem infinitesimal to him. Like, Barry, professional football players look for that crap. They look to see, oh, I think I saw something. Rewind it. Give me another game tape. Rewind it. Hey, every time Tua is getting ready to snap the ball, he does this or that. Or anytime Liam Eichenberg is getting ready to snap the ball, he does this or he does that. And if that tick is able to be picked up by a defensive end, the Dolphins are in really, really, really deep shit. And so when I saw what Terron said, I realized right away why he deleted it. And I realized he deleted it not because of people at all. With the trolls calling me a troll and get away from Barry. You just run, avert your eyes, run from Barry. He's a troll. Good afternoon, Barry. Very cordial. The ball wasn't supposed to be snapped right there. Okay, when was it supposed to be snapped, Terron? If I'm a reporter, I can't tell you because it gives up our signals. Okay, by the time I realized that it was snapped, it was far too late to save the day. No, it wasn't. let me tell you why it wasn't, okay? I'm going to tell you why it wasn't. Let's go ahead and rewind this, right? So the ball gets snapped. Right there, you have an option. You can do something. You know what you can do? Those of you guys who've played ball before, you tackle his ass. The last thing you want to do is have this guy who's probably 6'5", 250 having a free run at Tua. If you know you're already beat and you know that Tua is sitting back there in his lonesome in an empty backfield, you do not just turn your back and go, oh, sorry. Run down there, tackle his legs, take the 15-yard penalty. Whatever you do not want this quarterback having a guy come at him, free run, and take a hit. Think I'm lying? Ask anybody who's played football. You go ahead and tackle this guy. He stops. He actually starts jogging. Oops, shit. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do now. So my feeling is that this thing was deleted because it gave up too much information. And he also knew what my next question was going to be because he heard from probably one of the reporters, he's going to try and trap you. He's not going to take me. He's not going to take just some simple answer. He's not one of these guys on Twitter that just has complete adulation. He's going to dig. So, Terron, I mean, didn't you think about tackling him instead of letting Tua get hit? What's the answer? I've been an offensive lineman. I'll grab your face mask before I let my quarterback get hit on a free run. I'm just not going to let you run. So Terron, why did you not take this guy down? Okay. What was the next thing here? Oh. Communication issue that sometimes happens on the road. My next question would have been, hey, thank you for your answer. What communication issues? Are you guys not prepared to play in rowdy stadiums? He can't answer it. He can't answer the questions that I would have followed up with. It's easy to take the route of, oh, he's a troll. I'm just going to back off and not even bother because it doesn't work that way, man. People are talking behind the scenes. I'm getting DMs from reporters. I got a DM from one reporter. I can't name his name. And he actually said, dude, we can't ask those kind of questions. We cannot ask the questions that you would pose to him. And he can't answer the questions you would pose to him. I'm like, I understand that. I understand it. But say that. Hey, man, I can't give out strategy and things like that to you. Okay. But no, dude, you just went ahead and deleted the post. I mean, so that's pretty much what he said. And I got more. I'm going to take some more comments here. JV, time and time again, this team is unprepared. Yeah, go ahead and hit the like button, guys.
Show some love and click that like button.
Yeah, I mean, it's scripted questions. Yeah, they go to press conferences. So, speaking of press conference, I'm going to show you what he said in this next press conference. And it blew me away because I'm not sure when this press conference happened. Was it earlier, before all this stuff happened? I don't know because he didn't go to practice today because he's hurt. What's that? Firing this stream was a bad idea, Barry. You're exposing how much Terron blocking made you feel. It made me feel? What I'm telling you is I've got some information that I think most fans who aren't nut latherers would like to understand. Like to understand the inner workings of the game. You don't think I've been blocked by people much larger than Terron Armstead? You don't think I've been followed by people much larger than Terron Armstead? I'd blow your mind if I showed you some of the people who actually follow me but can't really, get in the weeds here. And I don't even like him. He likes me. I don't even like him. Okay? But if I showed you who he was, put it this way. I have one guy who follows me who probably has more followers than every single person you know combined. And I'd put money on it. I'd put money on every person in Dolphins Twitter combined don't have as many followers as this one guy who follows me. So you go ahead and keep your dream alive that it's bothering me because, oh my God, that makes you feel better. So in any event, now we're past that idiocy. Again, you're the type of guy who says that kind of crap. This is what Terron Armstead said. Let me see if I could find it here while I can see. All right, so this was him at a presser sometime today.
Reviewing the film from yesterday, make corrections.
He's reviewing the film and making corrections. Terron! Yeah, what are you doing about the communication issues that led you to give up that sack? Inquiring minds want to know.
Ready for Buffalo.
Seems pretty simple. One game here, task at hand is, you feel like anything needs to be said, or everybody pretty much knows exactly what the expectations are?
Yeah, and I don't think it's much explaining needed at this point. Last game of the regular season, we got our goal number one in front of us, win the division. So, got to go out and execute, get that done.
Got to go out and execute and get it done, which I've said many, many times. You have to execute. You have to actually do things like block people on the field.
Terron, is the feeling after this loss any different than after the other losses this season? More resolve, or do you need to change anything? What are your thoughts there?
No, we're not about to try to revamp or switch up.
Ooh. That was Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel with a fantastic question. After getting your ass handed to you, after getting spanked like that, are you guys looking to revamp or change anything? Nah, man, we're good. What? You just got beat 56-19. A team's coming into South Florida who beat you 48-20. You just blew a block and said there's communication issues and the ball wasn't supposed to be snapped. So you guys going to change anything? No, man, we're good. He said that, not me. He just said that. Let me let you hear it again. This is from a presser where he just admitted, we're good, man. Everything's good.
Try to revamp or switch up anything. It was a tough loss for sure.
So they're not going to do it. Not going to change anything. Great. You're not going to change it. Maybe you can't say it in an open forum, but tell me, you guys got to give me the wink. Yeah, we're changing a lot. We have to change a lot.
They beat the shit out of us, all three phases. So can't take that lightly or ignore it. Figure out where we lacked, how the game got away from us, and in preparation for Buffalo, so we go out and execute and say win the division.
All right, so in preparation for Buffalo, you're not going to revamp or anything, but you're going to execute, which means you plan on blocking, which means you may have to go with some silent counts or whatever, but you're not going to change anything. So whatever they did, he is saying to the world, we're just going to keep doing it. I've never heard anybody get beat by nearly 50 points say, it's all good, we're just going to go with what we went through. Again, that may be some poker. It may be something that obviously they can't answer in an open press conference, and that's also why I think he couldn't answer me as well, is because any reporter worth his salt could easily dig and go, you really don't want to change anything, huh? You're just going to go with what it is. Let's see. Chad Waterfield says, what's funny to me is Tua came over to Terron the other day and said, whatever you got to do, man, do it. I wonder if he was talking about their communication issues. Don't know. But I don't understand how you still have these issues 16 games into the season. I mean, at this point, you're professionals. You're getting paid a lot of money. You got one job on a pass play, and that one job is to protect Tua. What would everybody be saying today if Tua was out with another concussion? Because you completely whiffed on a block. And you're saying, the season's up to Mike White. Not going to change anything, though, huh? Let's see here. Let's face it. We can't beat the good teams. We can score on teams that can be exploited, work on the defense, and get the O-line healthy, and we have a chance. Speaking of healthy, and this is important for you to know, he's not. He's not healthy at all. Wait till you see this. Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that about getting healthy. A couple things I want you to know, and God bless him because he just went through a fire. But this is Tyreek from the overhead of Channel 7 News today. On Channel 7 News today, they showed Tyreek outside with his wife as the fire was burning. And I was sitting with my wife and going, "You see what I see?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "That's not a sandal on his left foot." "Oh my God. Yeah, he's got a walking boot." And I zoomed in on it, and sure enough, he's got a walking boot. Let me tell you the importance of that in a second. So this is the current, as of today, the injury report for the Miami Dolphins. And what we're seeing here is Terron Armstead did not practice. Bradley Chubb obviously did not practice. Xavier Howard obviously did not practice. Raheem Mostert, Zach Sealer, Jalen Waddle, Devon Chan, he didn't practice. And then the rest of these guys are limited in everything else. So by virtue of having a fire, the Buffalo Bills now know that Tyreek's walking around in a boot. I didn't know that. Did you know that? Did anybody know that Tyreek still, weeks later, was still walking around in a boot? That he's not 100%? And if he wasn't 100% coming to see the fire at his house, then he wasn't 100% against the Baltimore Ravens. And he's not 100% now. Now the Buffalo Bills know this. The Buffalo Bills look at this picture and said, "Wait a second, he's still got a walking boot on? He's still in a boot? Weeks later? He's not 100%? Don't think for an instant a defensive back won't tell another one, take him out low. When you come in, be legal. Be completely legal. Take him out low. I didn't know that he was still in a walking boot. That to me terrifies me now that this thing is public. And so how do I know it was terrifying? Because immediately, here they come, all talking about people love to walk around in walking boots. That doesn't mean anything that anybody's in a walking boot. Don't worry about it. He's in a walking boot. Doesn't mean a thing. He's got a sprained ankle. It's comfort. It was everywhere. I started seeing some of the beat reporters talking about Tyreek being in a walking boot isn't a big deal. Well, if it isn't a friggin' big deal, how come you didn't mention it in the last couple weeks? I'll wait. I actually said that to a guy. If it's not a big deal, why are you saying it's not a big deal? And why haven't you said that he's got a walking boot? Lies. They're telling you lies. They're telling you lies. And then when people like me bring it up, "Oh my God, he's a troll. Watch out what you say to him. Run away, run away." And all I'm doing is I'm looking at sorry that he had a fire at his house, but the overhead helicopter had a picture of him walking, and I picked it up. And I wasn't the only one. Other people were like, "Whoa, he's still in a walking boot?" "Oh yeah, he's in a walking boot. We see it every day at practice." You never said anything. To the gazillions of followers and everything that these people have, you never once mentioned that Tyreek Hill is in a walking boot 24/7. And he takes it off for practice, and he takes it off for the game. But other than that, he's back in a walking boot. I don't know, if my ankle wasn't in bad shape, I wouldn't be in a walking boot. Again, those of you who have played, who have had sprained ankles and badly sprained ankles, how long did you stay in your walking boot? Was it just like a smoking jacket? You just leave it on because it was comfortable? Come on, people. Understand what's going on out there. Understand that, and this team's on literal fire. I mean, not literal. His house was literal fire, but this team's on fire. There's a problem here. Shit's happening. And there's so much deception going on. And there's so much collusion going on with people and what they say to make sure that you don't know the truth. Oh my God, I sound like Alex Jones. But unlike Alex Jones, I got pictures. I have pictures. I have tweets that get deleted after they get sent to me. I have all this stuff. I have reporters talking to me, Barry, don't say this, okay? Don't mention my name. Of course I won't. I would never breach your confidence. But I'm telling you right now, what you're seeing in the happy-go-lucky sphere of Dolphins football isn't what's real. And I don't know how else to say it. So when somebody says, are you saying this just because he blocked you? No, I'm saying it because it's just another brick in the wall. This, what you're seeing ain't real. It's almost like WWE. What the hell is going on with this team? Dan Barry, these Finns are in a lot worse shape than I thought. You may be right. The problem is not just the quarterback. It's the coaching staff and the entire organization. Yeah, I'm beginning to feel that way. Tua, $30 to $45 million a year contract. Could be Wilkins, AVG, and Hunt. G-Man says, and this is a good one, does Mike McDaniel have any control of the team? I don't know. Maybe when Terron, they saw that tweet, maybe their social media person saw it. I understand that everything these guys do online is seen and monitored. Maybe somebody's hit him on a cell phone. Take that shit down, man. Delete it right away. Don't put that out there. Excuse me. It's not because the guy is a troll. It's because you said some things that may tick off some of the guys on your team. Hey, man, it was snapped. The ball was snapped before it was supposed to. Who? Who snapped the ball? Terron? There's no reading into that. He actually said it. The ball was snapped before it was supposed to. Oh, so it's his fault. You just said that on Twitter in front of everybody. It's his fault that Tua got sacked. Start looking like the scarecrow. You guys all doing this kind of shit, huh? But Barry, you shouldn't be talking about it. You're a clown. Yep. Players need to stretch or something. Yeah, he's got, as all players would, have a lot of people in their ear. I don't think he can. I'm sorry, but trying to be buddy doesn't work long term. Nope, not at all. This team is being coached by Dr. Joyce Brothers. Yeah, because, Tom, it's very interesting what you just said. Let's say, and this is just a guess, let's say it was Tua's fault. Let's say it was Tua who asked for the ball too early, or he gave the signal, whatever the signal was, he gave it too early. And Terron comes out and says, hey, man, it wasn't me. The ball was supposed to be snapped right there. Oh, are you saying Tua did it? Take that down, Terron. We don't want Tua upset. I don't know if that's the case, but something happened. Something definitely happened. Let's see here. Tyreek's 2,000 comments before the season was the control of the team. This man-boy head coach probably feels the pressure of him getting 2,000, hence a 44% of the offense revolving around Tyreek. Could be. Did you ever hear Mike McDaniel throw up the horn sign before his presser? No, I haven't. Maybe it was a hard count to get, could be maybe it was a hard count to get them to jump because Tua saw they were trying to get a jump on the count. Well, then why did Liam, so then you're saying that it was Liam's fault. In any event, you don't want your teammate saying it was he did it, man. But see, the problem with that, and the big problem, as I read, again, going back to the videotape, all right, so if that were the case, in this whodunit mystery here, I want you to look at this and tell me if Terron didn't think it was supposed to be snapped, did everybody else not think it was supposed to be snapped? Because everybody else is already moving. This is Eichenberg, this is the guard. Let's see what happens here. Boom. Lester Cotton had a slow get off. He's still crouched down there. But, everybody else is moving. I mean, you can actually see that. I mean, it's no. Everybody seems to get off on the ball. There's Liam in the middle. He snaps the ball to Tua. Everybody else on that line of scrimmage moves in unison. Nobody looked surprised. Everybody else on that line looked as though it was snapped when it was supposed to be snapped. I don't know. Maybe they responded quicker. Who knows? But that was what he said to me. Dude, it's one bad play. Okay. I heard that today. Dude, it's one bad play. Was it? Or was it one bad play that I found? Want me to go find some more? And if it was just one bad play and no big deal, what happened? As I said, what would have happened if Tua bumped his noggin too hard? Would you still be saying it's one bad play? It was one bad play in Green Bay, right? Everything was going fine. He threw a couple interceptions, banged his head, got a concussion. One bad play. That's a foolish statement. In football, to say it's one bad play means you don't know what the repercussions of that bad play could be. In this instance, the bad play was he got sacked. That's not a good outcome. You don't shrug off a sack, especially you didn't touch the guy. One bad play is a fanboy response trying to say, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. It's a big freaking deal. Your quarterback got manhandled, could have gotten hurt, drive gets stopped, the whole 9 yards. And the fact of it is, in terms of is it just one bad play? Well, I don't think Mr. Armstead thinks that. Mr. Armstead said somebody snapped the ball when they weren't supposed to, and we're having communication issues with loud crowds. That's not one bad play. You want to make it that, but that's not true. So you might want to go talk to the buddies on Twitter who just try to blow everything off. Vipey's like, wait, what? Sorry, this last loss is on the head coach. They were not prepared. Vipey, it's weird because Armstead doesn't even tweet often. You really struck a nerve somewhere. Boom! Boom! Boom, boom, boom! Exactly. If you go to Armstead's homepage, which I can with an alternate account, that's another thing. These guys think you just have one account. If I go with one of my other accounts, I can see when he tweets. You know that he hasn't tweeted since wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. He hasn't replied to anybody since December 15th. It's January 3rd. He doesn't tweet. Something caused him to respond to me. You're the first person in here who said that, I think, because I haven't read all the comments. Something triggered where he had to respond. It became that big of an issue because everybody else, the media, started asking questions. I'm telling you, because they were DMing me and saying, Barry, you see what's happening? I'm like, no, I just posted a tweet and went shopping with my wife. I didn't know all this shit was going to happen. I just hoped that people would look at it and have some questions. He goes, well, you got questions, all right. So at that point, I had to call the Brinks guys and make sure they're stationed out front of the house, make sure there's nobody in a black helicopter showing up, because obviously what you said right there, Vipey, he doesn't tweet that often, and it struck a nerve. And when you strike a nerve like that, sometimes people will respond out of kind, not realizing what they're saying, and like, oh shit, did you just say that? That the communication's a problem? that there's a problem that someone else caused, the center or maybe the quarterback? Did you just point a finger at somebody? That's really bad. The Bills are going to dance on our grave Sunday night. Let's hope not. Defense giving up 60. All right, so been here 58 minutes. Let me move into the game a little bit. So some of you guys may have seen today. I'm going to get away from the Terron thing. You guys can dwell on it and think about it and come back to me with it. But one of the things that, let me see, where is this? Let me get here. All right, so this was on ESPN today. And so one of the things I wanted to say tonight was I had told you guys and ladies that there was going to come a time where people were just going to completely shun the Miami Dolphins, that they were over the bullshit, completely over the bullshit, over the capri pants and the designer sneakers and the zippity doo-dah. I mean, I know a lot of people heard it from Colin, but Stephen A. said this today, and I found this to be quite telling.
I'm going with the Bills, but it's by default. I've lost all faith and all respect for the Miami Dolphins.
Understand, somebody says, I picked this team. I think they're the better team. I think these guys can win. You know, here's why. I think they got a better X, better Y. But when your reason why I'm going with somebody else is because I lost all respect for you. You're not even worthy. You're no longer worthy of me talking about you. I'm disgusted. And then it's funny because I see this stuff on Twitter, and the first refrain, the first response, oh, he's a clown. He's an absolute clown. He's an ass. He's a moron. He's a hater. And I'm like, this hater has a huge friggin' audience. Maybe not on the Dolphins Twitter, but he's got a huge friggin' audience. And as he begins talking and telling these people, which he's obviously prepared to say, the deluge has begun. The floodgates are opening where the media is like, you're shit unless you can prove it to me.
I just have. I'm so disgusted with the Miami Dolphins. They make me sick. They really, really do. To watch them go on the road and wet the bed as many times as they have this year. I know.
Understand what he said. I'm disgusted. I've lost respect, and the team is wetting the bed. You can't get much lower than how he's describing this team at this point.
This game is at home. And so I expect a better performance because for some reason, when they're close to South Beach, I mean, it just serves as a mode of inspiration. So be it. But in the end, I'm just incredibly disappointed, Swagoo and Doggy. I can't put in the words. Again, it's not the loss. It's how you lose. It's like, listen, if you're in a boxing ring, to use a boxing analogy, you know what? You can get outboxed because you're going up against superior talent. You could get caught with one punch and you could get clipped. But that is entirely different than getting your ass kicked. And when I see the Miami Dolphins, I see ass kickings.
When I see the Miami Dolphins, I see ass kickings. I get this kind of response all the time. It says, what's going on with you, Barry? If you've watched this far into it and you don't know what's going on with me, I don't know what to say. I'm being completely objective. I just explained to you how the starting left tackle of the Miami Dolphins got into a conversation with me on Twitter about him giving up a sack, and it's just one piece of a puzzle that shows the team is in complete disarray. Am I a Dolphins fan? Absolutely. Am I ignoring what's going on? Absolutely not. I just can't. That's just not me. It will never be me. If you need to unsubscribe because you need a cheerleader, I'm not that guy. If Tua comes out Sunday and throws 6 touchdowns and they beat Buffalo 50-20, I'm going to cheer as loud as I possibly can. But at this point, he has to prove it. Last game against Buffalo, Tyreek had 56 yards. Jalen Waddle had like 45. It ain't working. And so right now, I am suspect. I have not gotten off the gravy train. I'm not doing any of that stuff. As some people said, bandwagon. There's no bandwagon. You understand what a bandwagon is? A bandwagon is when people get on a winner that has accomplished something and they just happen to show up and say, oh, no, I'm a fan. No, I've been here for quite some time. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I'm saying I don't feel it. I don't feel what they're doing. I'm not buying what Mike McDaniel is selling until he gets into the playoffs and wins a few games. That's what I'm saying. So let's continue.
On their dockets. And that is what disgusts me. To have us rave about Mike McDaniels the way that we have. To have people talking about the boy genius that he is supposed to be. To look at the greatness of Tyreek Hill, who spent the vast majority of this season literally as an MVP candidate. But we can point to last week against Baltimore. We can point to the Philadelphia game, and I think one other game where he literally drops touchdown passes. And all of a sudden, Jalen Waddle can't stay healthy, and even when he's healthy, you know what, the inconsistency level. You look at this defense, and you go up against Baltimore 56-19. You get ramrodded like that. You go to Buffalo 48-20. You get ramrodded. Where's your pride? Where's your dignity?
Where's your pride? Where's your dignity? And in my video yesterday, I showed you what Tua said. I wanted to scream. Tua said, hey, it could be worse. Christian Wilkins, what do you think about today? We're right where we want to be. We wanted an ass kicking to have to play Buffalo in the last game of the season for the championship. So we're right where we wanted to be. So you went into this game wanting your ass munched. Tua, it's not as bad as it should be, huh? Could be. That's their saying. I'm the one who just points it out.
I mean, damn. I mean, we look at this team, as explosive as they are offensively. Every time the bright lights come on, with the exception of the Cowboys game at home, I give them credit for that. But with the exception of the Cowboy games, every time the bright lights come on, and the Miami Dolphins, we're like, oh, we can't wait to see this explosive offense. Might be the best offense since the greatest show on turf. Oh my God, we can't wait. They don't just lose, they get their ass kicked. And that is what bothers me about the Miami Dolphins. So, yeah, I could be wrong, but on this particular week, with so much on the line, I'm looking at the bright lights, and I'm saying, damn it, that's who they are. Every time the bright lights come on, these brothers are no-shows. And it really disgusts me because I enjoy watching the Miami Dolphins when they are flowing. But, boy, when they're not, it's a tough watch, and their defense, oh my Lord, they should be ashamed of themselves. They
should be ashamed of yourself. Hey Barry, what's going on with you? I'm ashamed. I had people. I should show. I had people texting me, dude, what happened to your boys? I don't know. How come your boys can't win against big teams? I can't. I don't know. But we're still there. I'm riding or dying with them. That's what people want to hear. It's disgusting. It's absolutely. How do you think Denver fans felt getting beat 70-20? You think a lot of them were just like, it's okay. It could be worse. We're right where we want to be. You think Sean Payton went the next day and said, we're right where we want to be. We just got to get better. But Dolphins fans did that. Dolphins fans, and I know it. The very next day, it's like, okay, so now forget that. I even heard some of the YouTubers. We're not even going to talk about last week. We're going to start talking about next week. And I'm like, dude, did you not just see the ass kicking that Baltimore laid on you? And then there was something that went on today with Javon Holland. Do you realize that one of those touchdowns I showed yesterday, where Lamar Jackson, they ran a Miami Dolphins play and actually taunted the Dolphins? Did you see that? He turned as if he was a left-handed quarterback, and Javon Holland actually said in an interview, "Oh, that was dope." He said that. He went back like he was left-handed, mimicking Tua, and then turned it around and threw it 70 yards to Zay Flowers for a touchdown. They were toying with the Miami Dolphins. They were pissed off about last year. And they did some things. They ran their same damn play that the Dolphins ran. They used Zay Flowers instead of Tyreek Hill. He pretended he was left-handed. Then he turned around, and Javon Holland goes, "That was dope." Think I'm lying? Go look it up. He actually said it. That was dope, what Lamar Jackson did. That's all you can say. You can't even get pissed off. It's like, whew, man, he kicked our ass. Absolutely. Javon Holland sucks too. I'm going to give him a break because, he was hurt. And so maybe his first week back. Pete Take says Holland needs to cover tight ends. And Baltimore going to have a couple for you to cover as well. Absolutely. Let's see here. Snowman. Sean Payton benched Russ. McDaniel would never bench Tua. No reason to. They were winning. So, I mean, they're 11-5, whatever it is, and they're hoping to go 12-5 and keep Baltimore from winning. But they're down. They're 3 or 4 point underdog in their own home. So that's that. We will find out this weekend. We absolutely can find out this weekend. How can he keep up with the comments when he's talking? How does he know which ones are good to answer? Am I missing somebody? If I am, I'm sorry. I can only look over sometimes and catch what's at the top. Let me scroll to the bottom. Did I miss somebody? Let's see. Go tell. Let's see the ones I see. Go tell little Tua turn that TV off and go to bed and make sure he pee before he goes to bed. I know people get pissed off, but I'm trying to show you things that actually make sense and give you insight. If we are down by 14 points or more in the fourth quarter Sunday, I can see the home crowd starting to boo Tua. Yeah, they may. They may, especially if they got to go on the road to play Kansas City at this point. So before we break, speaking of saying things about Tua, do you guys know who Asante Samuel is? Asante Samuel is a former defensive back, played for the New England Patriots, Super Bowl ring, All-Pro, top-notch cornerback. And he had this to say about Tua. And this was sent to me by one of the reporters who I'd been speaking with today. He goes, take a look at what this guy says. Don't tell anybody I sent it to you because I didn't see it. Have you guys seen this, what he says? Check this out. This is mind-blowing.
And Mr. 1-2-3 is my new name for Tua Tagovailoa. When the play isn't perfect and Tua needs to adjust or compensate for good coverage or something like that, the Dolphins become automatically a mediocre team, a very average team when Tua Tagovailoa has to create and try to be something that he's really not, right? And this year, listen to me, this year will be his best year ever. This will be the best year ever Tua Tagovailoa, right? He will never play to this level again because teams will get what they need to stop them after experiencing this year and all this explosive and the quick pass.
Now understand what he just said there. This is the film year. This is where you get the bank of film on Tua and Mike McDaniel. These good teams that we're playing now late in the season, they already have that bank of film. And what he's saying is you've basically opened the trench coat and you've shown the world what your capacity is. Everybody now knows. Now they know they need to do different things and get different personnel to stop the big dog on the block. You think the Patriots are just going to sit back and be the Patriots next year? You think the Jets are going to sit back and be the Jets, just the same old Jets next year? No, now they know. We've seen Mike McDaniel. This is his breakout year. This was Tua's breakout year. We see what he can do. Now we're going to make our moves as well. That's what he's saying.
Right? He can prove me wrong. I love for everybody to prove me wrong when I'm a critic. But
see, that's just it. It's not something you say, as Stephen A. always says, it's fluid. It is fluid. It doesn't mean that Mike McDaniel can't change. Doesn't mean that Tua can't improve. Nobody's saying, hey man, they're done. But it's up to them to improve on what they're doing. So it's not that I'm not a fan or I'm overly critical. I'm seeing some stuff and going, damn dude, you need to change up. You need to change up quickly.
I'm standing on this. I'm standing on business. I think this is going to be his best year of his career ever. And yeah, he's pretty much hit the ceiling.
He's pretty much hit the ceiling. He's pretty much hit the ceiling. That's what people are saying. And this is what some of the reporters who sent me this, because I didn't know that Asante even had a pod.
McDaniel, he is solely responsible for Tua's success. I don't think it's another coach that can make Tua play to the level he has played at this year. Besides Mike McDaniel, there is no one else. Trust no one else. Mike McDaniel is doing a hell of a job with Tua Tagovailoa. We've seen him with a previous coach, and Mike built a great team, speed, talent, everything he needs to be successful. It's all up to Tua now. I had a debate with my brother about who fault is, and I had to explain to him, man, it's not not Mike McDaniel's fault. Tua Tagovailoa got to step up right now.
Tua has to step up. Mike has been basically shielding him and calling plays to, what would you say, amplify Tua's set of skills. And he's been focusing on the spot throwing and the quick release and everything like that because it specifically accentuates that which Tua can do. And it's worked.
In the future, the Miami Dolphins will have a big decision whether or not to keep Tua Tagovailoa on the team for years to come, right? Now, if they want to win the Super Bowl, if they want to get to the big game and win that Super Bowl, Tua Tagovailoa is not the guy. He's a nice guy. Everybody want him to succeed. I want him to succeed. But an apple is an apple. A spade is a spade. And I don't see Tua Tagovailoa being that guy. And we hear about Tua, taking jiu-jitsu classes, and that's cool and all. But in my opinion, I think Tua needs to concentrate on flexibility and speed in off season because
Flexibility and speed. This guy's an all-pro cornerback, Super Bowl winning cornerback.
He is barely able to escape 300-pound plus defenders when they're chasing him around the fifth. When he got to make a play, it's very hard for him to escape. If y'all not watching closely. You got to pay attention to those small things. And that's not good, because the older you get in the NFL, the slower you get.
Absolutely 100 correct. You don't get faster. Very seldom do you get faster. You've heard the term, you lose a step. So if this is basically the pinnacle of where Tua can be at this point, which many people are seeing, he's at his ceiling. What do the Dolphins do in the future when it's time to pay him the bag? And fans don't like to hear this stuff. Everything is fine till it's no longer fine. But I'm telling you, Stephen Ross and Chris Greer have to have some come to Jesus moments in the offseason after whatever happens. Let's see, is Tua the David Woodley, but no Marino out there in the draft? No, and here's the problem. The Dolphins have done so well this year with 11 wins, they're not going to be picking till way down in the draft. Way down. So they're not going to get a chance to grab one of the guys coming out. Amen. He's right. Tua can't improvise. We need a Lamar or a Jay Fields or a Mahomes, someone who can run when things go bad. No big contract for Tua. Why don't you go play the QB if you think you're better than Tua? You shut up. You're making him mad. You're making me upset. Read what you just wrote. Seriously, read what you just wrote and understand, me looking at this, I think you're an adult. Seriously, that's the kind of conversation you want to get into? Wow. I know Captain Swell. It just cracks me up, man. It's unbelievable. They need help. You're going to see what they need help in. Offensive line. And please don't start the Dalvin Cook talk again. Please don't start that. So I've got one more video for you. And I want you to look. These are the guys on NFL Live. This is from today. It's Dan Orlovsky, Swagu, Marcus Spears, and Hawk talking about this weekend's game with the Buffalo Bills. Now, you're going to see a couple things I had to do with the video, so I didn't get into any problem with NFL copyright. But you can hear everything.
It sucks to see them lose their two DNs, Phillips and Chubb. It's a really good young pairing in the league right now. They were playing as good as anybody in the league. Personnel-wise, they're going to be slightly different than, like I said, than what we've seen. Just trying to get a feel earlier what they're trying to do. If they're going to have to bring different pressures to try to affect the quarterback. They just played a game where they didn't play too well against a really good team. So
Josh Allen just said on national television they just played a game where they didn't do too well on a pretty good team. I've never heard another quarterback say something like that about a team. So I hope that's bulletin board material.
We're stepping into a very hostile and dangerous situation in terms of the AFC East on the line. So we got to give everything that we got.
Yeah, Mina mentioned yesterday we'll see Vic Fangio having to bring some different pressures, things that he hasn't done recently, but has done before in his coaching career. Marcus, you think the Dolphins defense can hold up against this Bills offense?
Oh no.
I'm sorry. Did you see him? I got to go to the other screen because that's just too funny.
Oh, no. And here's the thing, man. It's about third down. If they can get them there, because Josh had a phenomenal game the first time out on third down, and they kept singling up Stephon Diggs in that game, if y'all remember, and we were trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But Josh is 49% on third down during the season, right? And now you're talking about more extended time. You're talking about the ability to kind of diagnose pressure as he brought up in his presser and get the ball to those man-to-man matchups.
So what he's saying, diagnose pressure. Without Bradley Chubb bringing heat, and obviously without Jalen Phillips, he can diagnose pressure much easier. And if he has the kind of time that Lamar Jackson had, oh boy, be afraid.
Because you have to when you're pressuring. This is a disaster. The fact that Bradley Chubb is out of this game. They didn't have a lot of success the first time. But when you think about Vic Fangio, we talked about this defense kind of improving. You got Jalen Ramsey back. You see the potential injury to Xavier Howard. You hope that the secondary is better off if Xavier plays. But up front on third down, trying to kill time that Josh Allen has to operate is going to be an issue without bringing pressure.
I thought you were trying to.
Absolutely. And I just saw another comment, and people are saying in here that, here it comes again. Why are you being so negative? It's not negativity. It's actually telling you how it is. I would love to say something different, but everybody can see the same chess match. It's not something I'm making up.
Grass for your hair, and it hasn't been there for years. You bald, so I thought that was my initial thing. Oh, okay. Okay. I think Buffalo offensively can steal from Baltimore from last week in many ways. Number one, I would play big. I would put.
Okay, so I have to address this comment here. Am I getting this right? Starter for the Pro Bowl, All-Pro? No, you are completely wrong. Tua is not going to be an All-Pro. Big difference between All-Pro and Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is a fashion contest. The fans vote, and everybody can slam and continue to vote 25, 50 times to make their guy the best. The Pro Bowl has completely diminished in terms of its appeal. It really doesn't mean anything. It's a fan contest, popularity contest, miscongeniality. All-Pro is much different. No, Tua is not in contention for All-Pro. That's the big award. That's the big kahuna. You want to be an All-Pro. Tua is just, he may be first in line for the Pro Bowl, which is basically the funny games that they play in flag football and toss the rock and all that kind of crap, but it means nothing. They've completely devalued the Pro Bowl. Now, All-Pro is what people really, really want to sink their teeth into.
Tight ends on the field. I'd even put a fullback on the field, Reggie Gilliam, and I would make them stop Deion Dawkins in that pole game. That is the run that I can make the argument that they do best and probably better than anybody in football right now. When they pull their big left tackle, usually good things happen. So play big. I think number two, you got to take and make deep shots. I would throw the ball anywhere.
So understand what he's saying there. He's like, play big. Bring the big tight ends in. Abuse the Miami Dolphins up front without Bradley Chubb there. I mean, Melvin Ingram, if he's in there, he's undersized. AVG, he's great. Good motor. He's undersized against these big tight ends and big tackles. So what they're saying, in essence, is run the ball down Miami's throat. David Long, undersized as well.
But at Jalen Ramsey, if you looked at last week, Josh missed so many throws. He's going to have to connect them. And this kind of goes back to the don't throw to Jalen. If Xavier Howard does not play, and they are not, Miami defensively, going to move Jalen to the star or nickel inside, it should be everybody getting the football but whoever is being covered by Jalen Ramsey. So I think you play big. You got to take shots downfield, and Josh is going to have to hit them. And make sure that Jalen Ramsey's not a part of this football game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take Jalen Ramsey out the game. Pretty much, he wasn't even picked on during Baltimore. They figured, hey, listen, there's this guy, Deshaun Elliott. There's this guy over here, Eli Apple. And then Cam Smith ain't ever getting on the field. And we'll just eat our lunch with these guys all day long. Bring the tight ends, try to make David Long chase the tight end around, make Duke Riley try to cover somebody. This spells big problems for Miami.
Hawk, this Dolphins offense is coming off an absolute drubbing by the Ravens. What do they need to do to turn that around and get something going against the Bills?
Yeah, it's funny. This situation is the exact opposite of what it was the first time they played the Bills. They were coming off of 70 points against the Denver Broncos, but they still had the same answer. The same question to answer is they have to figure out how to beat cover two. The first time the Bills played them, they ran cover two shell 51% of the time, which is the highest that they've ever ran it since we've been tracking the coverage. Last week against the Ravens did it 44% of the time. What Mike McDaniel has to.
You guys understand that? Cover two shell. Basically, it's keep everybody in front of you. Without Tua being any threat to run, with Mostert not there, yeah, Achane broke a couple runs, but pretty much cover two shell, just going to keep everybody in front of you.
Do is he has to come in with a game plan to combat that because there's now a blueprint to how to stop this offense. And the reason why it's so successful.
Oh, did I say that? That there's a blueprint out there now to stop this offense? The blueprint is in place. I've said that over and over. People get pissed off at me. Barry, why are you talking so negative? You're hearing this from people. It's so easy to diagnose. And I've said before, it's easy to diagnose, but you have to have the personnel to execute. So playing against some of these lesser teams, even if they knew what was coming, they couldn't stop it. If I got in the ring with Mike Tyson, I know he's going to come at me with a body blow and then an uppercut. I can't stop it. But if I was a professional quarterback and I had all my guys in and I knew what Tua was going to do and I could execute, I already know what he's going to do. I'm serious. You guys watch the games with me on Sunday. I call the plays. You know there's only 20 or so plays that the Miami Dolphins run, and they run them over and over again because Tua has to throw to a spot. Now everybody knows. But not everybody had the personnel to stop it. Every single week from here on out, the other team is going to have the personnel in place to stop this offense if they don't make mistakes.
Successful against their offense is because the majority of their passing game is centered in the middle of the field. And so when you have a defense with playmakers at the safety positions like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, that's what you rely on. He didn't have any answers for it last time.
You understand what he just said? Same thing I just said. If you have the players who can execute and the personnel there. So they've got two. They've got Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer out there just ready to see what's happening.
He's going to have to figure it out this time around.
There's two things that help Buffalo's defense real quick, fella. One, their speed. They are a very fast defense, mainly because of necessity and some of their injuries. Two, they have become a completely changing the picture defense. They show you one thing pre-snap, go to a different thing.
That's what scares me the most. What he just said scares me the most because that puts the onus on Tua. I'm going to show you something, but we're going to change it. We're not going to actually be in the same position once that ball is snapped. It's up to you, Tua, to see or think or basically guess where we're going to move to because we already know, and I'm speaking if I'm Buffalo, we know you're throwing to a spot. We know that you're very good at throwing to a spot. We know you're very accurate in throwing to a spot. We have to do two things. We have to get a rush on you, and we have to disrupt and not let that spot be available.
Post-snap, that has more often...
You see Marcus going at him? You got it. That's it. You're hearing it again and again. All they need to do is disrupt timing and then stop the... It sounds easy. You still got to do it. Even, like I said, even if you know what's coming, you still have to do it. Tyreek isn't someone that you can just bottle up and just say, I know what you're going to do. You could know what that man's going to do, and he's still going to run past you.
Then not given Tua some difficulty in his career.
Dan, that's what I was about to get at. You saw him pressure a lot against the Patriots, and obviously that's Bailey Zappi, and you don't have the type of weapons on the outside. I'm interested to see how Sean McDermott is going to approach this, though. With Tyreek Hill and the potential of Jalen Waddle playing. HN is back as well. This is going to be an interesting defensive perspective from the Buffalo Bills because they have to pressure. I think they have some of the similar problems that you would say Miami has, or teams that are light up the middle. Bernard and Dotson at linebacker are two guys that you want to force the tackle in a physical run game and get them going sideline to sideline. The pressure has worked out for Sean McDermott up until this point. You got to be careful playing against this team, though.
So, I mean, that's it. and what he said at the end there is that, you want to break that up, run. Run the ball, make those linebackers come up. Make those linebackers have to come up, whether it's Mostert, Chris Brooks, Achane, Jeff Wilson, make them have to come up and fight the run. If they think you're going to abandon the run, if they think you're not going to do it, I'm just going to back up and wait for those in-breaking routes. Roquan Smith already told me, I just look to see where he's going to throw it. He wants Tyreek coming in. I just have to wait until he gives me the tell that I'm looking for, and I can make my break. So it's not, I feel like I always have to explain this to people that I'm not being negative. I'm being completely real. There's a difference there. And you don't have to listen. You can turn it off and not listen at all. But if you do and you're interested in understanding the inner strategy of a game, I'm actually, and I think some people get upset because they don't hear it anywhere else. That to me is probably the biggest indicators that you just don't hear it enough. You don't hear people break this team down. Right now, they're severely injured. They're encumbered at the running back position. They're encumbered at the wide receiver position. Mike McDaniel doesn't use his tight ends that much. They're encumbered at the defensive ends position. No, it doesn't look good. And on top of everything else you've heard tonight, you have their starting left tackle sending me a tweet saying something's wrong, but I can't really tell you. And I can't tell you because I'm going to have to let you know it wasn't me. It could have been Tua. It could have been Liam Eichenberg. It could have been communication. And I'm just going to ask you one question. I don't know where that tweet ended up. I don't know who has seen it. I don't know if anyone anywhere has looked at that. But just for a second, imagine you play for the Buffalo Bills, or you're a scout for the Buffalo Bills, or you're, I don't know, someone in their social media department following the accounts and what these people say out there. And you saw that, or you see it on my account. And you understand that there's a problem with communication still with this team 16, 17 weeks into the season. And that their left tackle is suspect in terms of the signal and communication being relayed to him when it's loud. It's not a good situation. With all the injuries, I want to look at this game and go, everything's okay. We're going to be able to put our best foot forward. Everything is in place. It looks really good. The offense is humming. The defense is humming. I think we got the Buffalo Bills. But all I hear from most fans is, I believe, I hope. The stat line, the trend line shows otherwise. And then today, or whenever it was, Terron said, we're not making any real changes to anything, which again can be a smokescreen. He didn't have to say that stuff in public. But I guarantee you, Mike McDaniel better make some changes. They've been found out. I said that a couple weeks ago in the video. They've been exposed, and now it's happening. Now you're at the point where people know what's coming, and you're going to have to execute basically on three wheels. This is here. I think the injuries are from them not hitting in practice anymore like years ago. Yeah, I believe so too. I mean, basically, there's two practices. There's usually two practices and a walkthrough, and very, very light contact. Let's see here. Terron thing happens when you don't practice enough. Socks being hurt all the time. Absolutely. Yeah, Stu, thank you for saying that. I'm trying to just...
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
I try to tell you guys what I've been saying. Like Sheree said, Bear said, I've been saying this for 2 years. 2 years ago, Tua could give you 285 a season, which is 15 yards rushing, which is staying sliding plays out of bounds with speed for the off season. Yeah, okay, but it is what it is at this point, man. And I hope, but it's safe to say don't put all your money into a Bills win with a 3-point spread. Yeah, that's smart. The Bills won't let Allen ruin the game. They're going to run the ball down our throat. I think they're going to, like he said, like Dan Orlovsky said, they're going to go big. Go absolutely big and try to manhandle the Miami Dolphins up front. I just wanted to get on here tonight. I didn't plan to go live. But everything that transpired today, I'm like, OMG. Terron Armstead, for whatever reason, decided he wanted to specifically respond to me, and then the world opened up over on Twitter. And I've been hounded, I've been screamed at, but I've had quite a few people go, hey man, you got him to respond. You must have touched the nerve. And for the starting left tackle of the Miami Dolphins to respond to me, highlighting that missed block that enabled that guy to sack Tua, to me, shouldn't be extraordinary. It shouldn't be something that's like, oh my God, he responded to me. No, it should be something that people talk about. you guys, if you're on YouTube, if you're wherever you are, if you see something, ask a question. You never know who might see it. That's the point I want to make, is like, too many people think it's taboo for you even to question, criticize what's going on the field. You buy tickets. You invest your time every single weekend. You are a stakeholder in this team. You have every single right to question the product being put on the field. Despite what the nuts say on Twitter and despite what the nuts say on here, you are a stakeholder. You are part of the community. No one should ever try to silence your voice and your response to what you see put on the field. God knows everybody bitched about Brian Flores. God knows everybody thought that was crazy, that you hurt Tua's feelings. Why can't you talk about the other stuff? Why can't you be men and women and say, hey man, I've watched every game, I bought tickets, I've got jerseys, I've got this. I'm invested into this team. And as an investor in this team, I'm going to let you know in our conference call that sucked. And make people listen to you. Make people not just decide to block you and run away. Make them listen to you. Tell other people. Let them know. We're angry and we're not going to take it anymore. That's what I wanted to say tonight. Especially for what they were getting paid. Yeah, you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. And if you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars by us, we're the ones who are paying you. Exactly. We are the customers. We are the ones who allow you to have the extravagant lifestyle. We buy the merchandise. We buy the tickets. We buy the concessions. We pay $50, $60, $100 to park. All of that is you. You watch every game. You buy cable. You make sure you're there every Sunday whenever they play, and you're cheering for that team. You are a stakeholder. You are invested. Because you're an investor, speak up. If you invested in IBM or invested in XYZ company and a company was doing shit products, you would say something. I would hope you'd say something. It's the same thing with the Miami Dolphins. You are a stakeholder. You have every single right. You've earned that right. Some of you guys, I've seen some of your comments. People have been fans for 40 and 50 years. Imagine this. If you could total up everything you've purchased for 40 or 50 years, every dime of every second of time you've spent watching this team, and you added all that up, I bet you're in six figures. You have earned the right to say something, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. If they want to call you a clown, if they want to say bad things to you, friggin' ignore them, block them, or whatever. But never feel that people can shut you up because they don't like what you have to say. That's the reason why I continue to do these things. I know people in these comment sections bitch about me. I know what they say. I see them. I ignore it because I have that right. I have invested enough to say, bullshit. Mike McDaniel, you look cute in your capri pants and your designer sneakers, but you ain't won shit yet. And you better win something, because next year, if you don't win this year, you're going to be on the hot seat next year. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If you don't beat the Bills and you go one and done in the playoffs, next year, your ass is mine. So if you want to go unsubscribe after the season, you might want to do it, because I'm going to be on his ass every single week. Tua, you don't have a great game against the Buffalo Bills, and you don't have a good game in the playoffs. Guess what? That's when it started last year. Everybody says, Barry, you changed. I can tell you the date I changed. Want me to tell you the date that supposed metamorphosis occurred? The date of that happened on December 27th of last year. I know it full well. What happened on December 27th? Well, on December 25th, Tua threw 3 interceptions and he went out of the game, and nobody knew why the hell why. Tuesday, Mike McDaniel gives a press conference and goes, yeah, Tua bumped his head and he's not going to be playing. He's got a concussion. Okay. All right, I understand that. And the next week, Tua's still not better. Wait a minute, I've had a concussion. What kind of concussion does he have that he still can't play? 3 weeks later, Tua is still in concussion protocol. Am I making this up? Do you guys remember? Tua's parents do an interview. Hey, he's doing much better. He's out of concussion protocol. Wait a minute. If he's out of concussion protocol, why isn't he playing? Whatever. Super Bowl week. Hey, you're going to go talk to Mike Florio and Chris Sims, and you bug out of the interview because you don't like what they're saying. And I said it on that day. I said, he just opened up a can of whoop ass on himself. People may be quiet while you're winning through preseason, through minicamp, but there's going to come a day when everybody remembers what happened last December. And damn if we aren't in January right now, and it's time to pay the piper, Tua. We've sat around for a year waiting for you to, evolve, get better. We didn't think you'd make it. I was one of the first ones to say, hey, man, you need to sign a quarterback. You need to sign Lamar Jackson. You need to sign Tom Brady. You need to sign somebody. This guy isn't it. I started it December 27th. They passed on everybody. They went with Tua. Okay, that's the quarterback. I didn't like it, but I'll deal with it. And then ever since then, okay, I see who you're beating. I saw you get drubbed by Buffalo, and I saw you beat up on all these other little teams. I'm like, okay, I see the fans happy. I want to see it in a big game. Ooh, I saw it in the Cowboys. But, I thought I saw it at the Cowboys. Went back and looked at the film, and Jason Sanders kicked, 6 damn field goals. Offense scored 1 touchdown. Didn't see it, Cowboys. Eked out a win. I said you escaped with a win. People are like, escaped? What do you mean escape? You escaped with a win. And then Baltimore comes to town. And I had people saying, oh, last year he threw for 470 yards, 6 touchdowns. I'm like, don't compare the two games, not the same. Don't even try to do. Here's what you have to look for. Roquan Smith wasn't there. Zay Flowers wasn't there. OBJ wasn't there. New offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. Said it all in the video. Going to be loud. Sure enough, what happens? I didn't expect there to be an ass whooping like 56-19, but it happened. And now I'm raising the warning bell once again. Am I saying they can't win? Absolutely not. But I'm saying there's so many things that we now see going into this game, not even including what kind of distraction Tyreek's going to have, sleeping in a Holiday Inn or wherever he's going to go, an Airbnb because he can't go back in his home, wondering if his wife's okay. You ever have a fire in your house and your wife be upset? You know what happens when your wife starts saying, hey, man, we need to do this, we need to do that. I got a game Sunday. Yeah, I understand all that, but, I need to do this and I need to do that. There's so much wrong. I hope they can pull it together. I know you hope they can pull it together. Let's all hope we can be surprised on Sunday, because that's what it'll. Doesn't mean I don't think they can win. What I'm saying is, Mike McDaniel, you have what you've always wanted. You said adversity builds character. You said that adversity absolutely builds character. Christian Wilkins, you said in a press conference, we are where we want to be. And 2 days or so before the game, your offensive tackle sends me this tweet. What am I supposed to think? What are you supposed to think? That's what I'm saying. So, thank you for indulging with me for another hour and a half today. Some of you guys who get pissed off, I can't help you. This is what we do. I talk about games objectively and teams. And right now, I'm looking at a game coming up on Sunday that I think is going to be an absolute dogfight, dragging people through the mud. It's supposed to be 62 degrees. There's no Hard Rock advantage in the sun. It's a night game. It's a national game. Every eye in the National Football League is going to be watching this game, and it's a do or die thing. Tua, as the guy, who was it? Adam Beasley? It's on you. This is all on Tua and Mike McDaniel. And we shall see very, very soon. Don't forget, I go live at about 8:05 on Sunday. Unless something else breaks, I probably won't go live until the game, but I'll let you know. And thank you guys all for hanging out. I love the fact that I can go impromptu and you guys can show up. And I hope you guys don't get too pissed off. And I hope you start talking. Let people